Hey everyone, welcome to Reality TV News Update, the place where we bring you the latest updates, fun moments, and behind-the-scenes stories you won't want to miss. After 27 seasons as the face of Big Brother, Chen Moonves has seen it all. Blindsides, betrayals, romances, rivalries, and reality TV legends in the making. However, even she admits that this season of Big Brother 27 felt different. A blend of strategy, unpredictability, and raw emotion made it one of the most compelling installments in recent years. And at the heart of it all were two house guests who became instant fan favorites, Morgan Pope and Vince Panaro. Julie talked about what made the couple so captivating to watch in a recent interview after the finale, and why she believes their presence set the tone for BB27 from the beginning to the end. The spark that lit up the season. Julie began by reflecting on how early Morgan and Vince's dynamic caught her attention. She said, "From week one, I could tell these two were going to be special. They were more than just players. They were also people. They brought life to the house." Morgan Pope, a 27-year-old digital marketer from Atlanta, quickly won hearts with her charm and emotional intelligence. She wasn't the loudest or most flashiest house guest, but she was very good at socializing. Vince Panaro, on the other hand, a 29-year-old bartender and musician from Chicago, was the complete opposite. Bold, unpredictable, and willing to stir things up just to see where the chips would fall. Julie exclaimed with a chuckle, "They were like yin and yang." Morgan remained composed and strategic. Vince was chaos and charisma. Together, they created moments that reminded everyone why Big Brother still works after all these years. An unlikely alliance that captivated fans. At first, Morgan and Vince weren't allies at all. In point of fact, they clashed for the first time on camera at the Week 2 nomination ceremony when Vince publicly criticized Morgan for floating in the shadows. The confrontation sparked immediate tension and even more fan chatter online. Julie recalled that exchange in the control room and thinking, okay, this is going to go somewhere. They had chemistry. Not romantic, but strategic chemistry. They put each other to the test. Sure enough, by mid-season, the two went from adversaries to allies in one of the most surprising flips of BB27. When a twist temporarily shuffled alliances, Morgan and Vince found themselves on the same side by necessity. What started as a truce evolved into genuine trust, a rare commodity in the Big Brother house. They reminded me of some of the great duos from past seasons, Julie said, citing iconic pairs like Dan and Memphis and Tyler and Casey. When two strong personalities realize they can go further together than apart, that's when you get magic. Magic is what Morgan and Vince brought. Game move that changed everything. Morgan's defining moment came in Week 7 when she orchestrated one of the biggest blindsides of the season. She persuaded nearly the entire house to vote out fan favorite Ava Rivera, a move that completely reshaped the game with her alliance in disarray and her back against the wall. She didn't just pull off a blindside, Julie said. She did it with such grace. She was never cruel or petty. She just played smart. Watching her navigate those social dynamics was fascinating. Regarding Vince, his bold and unpredictability will likely be remembered for his actions in BB27. His mirror twist veto play, when he used the power of veto to save someone outside his alliance just to expose hidden loyalties, is already considered one of the season's standout moments. That was pure Vince, Julie said. He used fire, sometimes getting burned, but he always kept the game interesting. You wanted to know what he would do next each week. A connection beyond strategy. Despite their differences, Morgan and Vince developed a deep mutual respect. By the time the jury phase began, their names were practically inseparable in fan discussions. Online polls consistently ranked them as the top two favorite players of the season. Viewers loved their banter. Morgan's composed one-liners, paired with Vince's irreverent humor, made for TV gold. Morgan's like my reality show babysitter, keeping me from getting myself evicted every other week, was even a joke Vince made in one memorable diary room segment. Julie said that their dynamic reminded her why Big Brother endures after so many years. It's not just about strategy, it's about relationships. You can put 12 strangers in a house and force them to compete, but what people connect to are the human moments. Morgan and Vince gave this that in spades. How fans reacted. Social media lit up every time either of them made a move. Throughout the season, hashtags like hashtag Team Morgan, hashtag Vince Vision, and hashtag MV Alliance became popular multiple times. Even evicted house guests admitted in post-show interviews that the two were impossible to ignore. They ran the house without even realizing it, joked third-place finisher Lila Green. You'd plan a move and somehow it always came back to Morgan or Vince. Julie said she was deeply touched by the fan passion surrounding the pair. She stated, "We've had showmances and villains get attention before, but it's rare to see two players dominate the conversation just by being themselves. That's what made them special." What happens next after their game ends? Morgan's journey ended just shy of the final two when she was evicted in a Week 11 vote that split the house down the middle. Many fans called it one of the most emotional episodes of the season. Vince, meanwhile, made it to finale night, ultimately finishing as runner-up in a narrow 5-4 jury vote. "I think both of them should be incredibly proud," Julie said. "Vince gave a performance that will be remembered, and Morgan played a game that earns respect over time. In Big Brother, that's the best of both worlds." Since the finale, both Morgan and Vince have remained active on social media, engaging with fans and even teasing a potential collaboration on a podcast about life after Big Brother. "I'd listen to that in a heartbeat," Julie laughed. "They have the personalities for it. Sincerely, I believe the fans would love to maintain that energy." Julie's take on their legacy. Julie paused thoughtfully when asked where she would place Morgan and Vince among the greats. She said, "It's hard to compare eras, but if we're talking about impact, they're definitely up there. They brought people back to Big Brother. It was evident in the ratings, online engagement, and audience's enthusiasm." She added that the two players represent the best of what Big Brother has evolved into, a mix of intellect, personality, and authenticity. The game was simpler in the beginning. Who wins and who loses? Now it's about narrative and connection. Morgan and Vince understood that instinctively. They didn't hesitate to be themselves, to laugh, to fight, or to be vulnerable. That's what attracts viewers' attention. Julie also praised their influence on the newer generation of Big Brother hopefuls. She said, "I guarantee the next casting season will be full of people who say, 'I want to play like Morgan,' or 'I want to be bold like Vince.' That's the mark of true icons." Inside Julie's personal connection. Off camera, Julie says she formed a real fondness for both contestants. She said, "I try not to get too attached, but with these two, it was impossible," she said with a smile. "They were so grateful to be there, so engaged with the process. Even in exit interviews, they showed humility and humor." She recalled that Vince's exit conversation left her smiling for hours. He said, "Julie, I might not have won, but at least I made good TV." And I just laughed because he was right. Morgan's exit, on the other hand, left a different impression. She was upset, but she handled it so gracefully. You could tell she genuinely cared about the people in that house. That's rare in this game. The bigger picture, why Big Brother 27 worked. Julie attributes the success of Big Brother 27 not only to Morgan and Vince, but to the overall casting and tone of the season. She said, "This cast reminded everyone that Big Brother doesn't need gimmicks to be great. Just real people, big personalities, and a game that constantly surprises you." But she doesn't downplay how central the Morgan-Vince dynamic was to that formula. Julie stated, "They set the rhythm. Their friendship, their rivalry, their respect, it gave the season a heartbeat. Every time one of them walked into the diary room, you knew something memorable was about to happen. A memorable event." As Big Brother 27 fades into history, fans continue to debate the season's biggest moments and what could come next. Rumors already swirl that both Morgan and Vince could return for an All-Stars edition in the future, something Julie herself would love to see. She teased, "They've got unfinished business, and I think they both know it." For now, though, Julie is content to celebrate what she calls a season that reminded us why we fell in love with Big Brother in the first place. Morgan and Vince didn't just play the game. They elevated it. They made it unpredictable, heartfelt, and unforgettable. That's the magic of Big Brother. That's the magic of people like them.